Hey, it's Crazy Hair Day. If you had any connection issues or missed ELA today, here's a recap of what we did. We're working on day 2 of Catching the Light, Unit 2, Week 1. Our big question in this unit is, what is the power of the sun? As we read each story and discuss each thing, we're going to learn different things about why is the sun so powerful, both with science and in our literary lives. Yesterday you read a myth called 10 Suns, and I want you to think about, how is the sun important to this myth? Or how is this myth important to the sun? Why do you think ancient people would create a myth about the sun? So our learning targets today, we're going to learn 3 new vocabulary words so that we can better understand the text that we're reading, and understand a character by being empathetic to their situation, as well as identify the conflict and resolution in a story. You will need your vocabulary notebook, something to write with, and a Reach for Reading book. Today's 3 words we added were reflect, thermal, and transmit. First, we talked about reflect. Most of us kind of know what that means, but it's very hard to explain. When a mirror reflects an image, the image is reversed, something to know. And the moon was reflected on the surface of the water. Think, what does reflect mean? It's a different definition we have. When light hits a mirror, it reflects the image so you can see it. But that doesn't really define reflect. It's using reflect in the definition. Another way of saying it is maybe bounced off, or kind of gives back, or shows back. So the moonlight was bounced off the surface of the water. When a mirror bounces off an image, you can see it. So you could use bounced off of as a way of thinking about how light reflects. It kind of goes boom, boom, like that. The next word we talked about was thermal. Thermal. A couple example sentences. The water sprays out of the geyser because of the thermal energy in Earth. The water is very hot. That's why it's so steamy. When we go out in the snow, it is important to wear thermal underlayers. So what do you think you need to be cozy in the winter, or hot water coming out? Yes, you need heat. Something is called thermal when it is hot. Thermal basically means hot or heated. When we go out in the snow, it is important to wear warm underlayers. The water sprays out of the geyser because of the hot heat energy. Thermal energy is heat energy. So thermal basically means heat. And finally, transmit. One of the students in class pointed out that transmit kind of sounds similar to transition. And there's definitely a relationship when you have a word that starts with the same prefix or first part of the root. When we use the phone, my voice transmits to my friend's ear. Even people without symptoms can transmit a cold or a flu. Thinking, what does transmit basically mean? Well, transmit means to move something from one place or person to another. So, for example, you're moving your voice from one phone to the next, or you're moving or passing on a cold or a flu. So transmit is similar to transition, because when you transition, if I'm transitioning from online schooling to in-person schooling, I'm changing my situation and sometimes changing the place. If I'm transmitting something, I am sending it or passing it on or moving it from one place to the next. Okay, comprehension strategies, conflict and resolution, as well as empathy. Some of the questions are a little repetitive, but that should really help us practice with really good answers. So a review from yesterday, the conflict is the problem, the resolution is the solution. How is that problem solved? So we reread pages 88 and 89, and I guess that's what I'm going to do for you right here. So hopefully you already read the whole story. If not, I would say pause here, go back and read the whole story. There is an audio version in Monday's classwork for you. If you don't feel confident enough to read it yourself, the story starts on page 84, 85. The story itself truly on 86, but we're going to reread pages 88 and 89. Each day, one of the sons would walk across the sky from east to west. When the people on earth saw the sun crossing the heavens, bringing warmth and light, they offered thanks to Dijun, who she, no, she who, sorry, and their family. But the gratitude of the earth's people and the importance of their work meant nothing to the boys. They found their task boring. Day after day, year after year, century after century, they followed the same path across the sky. There was no one to talk to, nothing new to see, nothing to do, except follow that same weary track over and over again. One night, as Dijun's boys lay in bed, they began talking. Ho Feng Huang, the oldest, said, "I would not mind walking the path so much if I had some company." "I feel the same way," Pi Li Xing, the youngest, replied. "Tomorrow let's do something different. Why don't we all get up early, take the dragon chariot, and walk across the sky together?" The others agreed, a splendid idea. In the dark of night, while their parents slept, the boys arose, put on their brightest garments, hitched the dragon to their mother's chariot, and rode across the star-swept sky to the eastern horizon. Laughing, chattering, with their arms around one another's shoulders, they began their walk. Okay, so that's those 2 pages. What is the conflict? What is the problem in this first part of the story? What is going to cause something new to happen? So how do I use the race strategy? Restate, answer, and cite. Well, restating is taking part of this question. What is the conflict in the first part of the story? Then you just say, the conflict in the first part of the story is. You just reverse parts of this. In the first part of the story, the conflict, or problem, is that. You do not have to change it that much. The conflict in the first part of the story is. What is it? Well, when I read it, I come up with some different things. The 10 sons are bored. They don't like their job. They've been doing it for too long. The 10 sons are lonely. They don't like doing it alone. Whichever one I pick, I need to have some evidence for my answer. So going to your copy, which is in Google Classroom, and this is where you would find it under Tuesday, because today is when it comes out, 10 Sons Question Set. So this is my copy. What is the conflict? This is how you can use a document to help your life be easier. The conflict in the first part of the story, I mean, it's not bad to type things because that teaches you to type better, but oh no, it's ruined. No, it isn't. Just do a little backspace until the 2 goes away. I'm going to delete my lowercase t and add an uppercase T to start a sentence correctly. The conflict in the first part of the story is that the 10 sons are bored. I'm going to say that. You could say lonely. You could say frustrated, whatever you want. But then you have to, here's the key part, cite evidence. I'm going to find evidence that they are bored. Ooh. It says right here on page 88, they found their task boring. So how do I cite that? In the text, it says, I'm going to quote it because I'm saying it word for word. They found their task boring. And it says this on page 88. So I can prove that my answer is correct. I think the problem is they're bored. In the text, they found their task boring. Okay? How are the sons feeling? Oh my gosh, I've almost answered this already. The sons are feeling bored. We could also say lonely. They feel this way because. Well, because they have to go across the sky by themselves. They have to cross the sky themselves. Or I should say alone. How's that? Alone each day. Okay, in the text, here's my C text, it says, what does it say? One night, sleeping in bed, they began talking. Moses said, I would not mind walking. Oh, in the text, it says, oh, I'm not going to say that. Which one? One of the sons says, I would, it's not like that, would not mind walking the path. I can do that if I had some company. And that is also on page 3. Okay, oops, I should probably have a second parentheses there, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so back to this. So you can say, in the first part of the story, the conflict is that they were bored, that they were lonely. They didn't like their job anymore, and they didn't want to do it the same way. How are they feeling? The sons are feeling bored. The sons are feeling lonely. The sons are feeling frustrated. They are frustrated because they're tired of doing the same job day after day, year after year, century after century. The next task that we worked on together was rereading pages 90 and 91, and then thinking about these questions. How are the people of Earth feeling when they saw the 10 suns in the sky? And how is the Emperor Shun feeling when he looks up at the sky and says, why have you sent your sons to destroy us? Page 90. When dawn came, the people who lived on Earth were astonished to see 10 suns appear above the horizon. The blazing heat of 10 suns shining down at once was more than the world could bear. Crops withered in the fields. Forests caught fire. Lakes and rivers dried up. Mountains shattered to pieces. The sea began to boil. People and animals grew faint. They stretched themselves on the scorching ground and waited to die. The great Emperor Shun, who ruled the nations of the world, cried to the eastern god Dijun, why are you punishing us? What have the creatures of earth done to deserve this terrible fate? Have we not followed the proper rites? Have we not offered the correct sacrifices? Why have you sent your sons to destroy us? So these are the questions that we talked about today. How were the people of Earth, not necessarily the Emperor Shun, but the other people, feeling when they saw the 10 suns in the sky? And look at that. The people of Earth, the people of Earth. Changing feeling to felt. What did they feel? We came up with that they felt astonished, because it says so. So they're very surprised. It also says they were unhappy to me, or that they were scared. How do I know that? Well, in the text it says they stretched themselves on the scorching ground and waited to die. There you go. You could say that it was very uncomfortable. The blazing heat of 10 suns shining down at once was more than the world could bear. Then it says, how is the Emperor Shun feeling when he says, why have you sent your sons to destroy us? The Emperor Shun is feeling what? Somebody said stunned. Somebody said sad. Somebody said scared. Somebody said angry. You could say all of those things. How is he feeling? He's feeling one of those things because he thinks that he's being punished. How do I know? Because in the text it says, why are you punishing us? So let's take a look what that looks like when we're filling out our document. I'm just doing questions 3 and 4. How are the people of Earth feeling? So again, I'm going to use that trick. I'm going to use this whole sentence because that's going to make my answer even bigger and more direct. I'm going to paste it. But I don't need this number 4 here, and I need that to start with a capital letter because that's how all sentences start, with a capital letter. The people of Earth, not feeling, felt scared, I'm going to say, when they saw 10 suns in the sky. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say uncomfortable. How do I know? In the story, it says that they lay down on the ground, and I'm not quoting directly. I'm doing a lot of words from the book, but not word for word, so I don't have to put it in quotes. And waited to die. If I added the whole part about the scorching earth, I'd probably need to put it in quotes because that's not some words that most fifth graders would do. And I'm going to tell you that's on page 90 because I want to prove that's my evidence. I'm proving my answer is correct. And you can look back and find it by looking on the same page. How is the emperor's son feeling when he says, "Why have you sent your sons to destroy us?" The emperor's son is, or I'm going to say felt, I'm going to say dismayed when he said, I might as well have done the right tense. When he says, "Why have you sent?" You know why I type, so that's the right practice. Sons to destroy. Oh, and I know this because he also asked, "Why are you punishing us?" Okay, and that is on page 91. That's what it looks like. So that's the work that you're trying to get done. These first 4 questions, that is your assignment. Come to school tomorrow with the first 4 questions answered. You might want to reread the story, and you can listen along to the audio support version, because tomorrow we're going to continue to identify the conflicts and use empathy to understand the characters during the story and how things change for the rest of the questions together. If you feel like you're capable of finishing all 8 questions with really good race strategies using complete sentences with proper grammar and spelling, you can go ahead and do that and submit it by 5 o'clock today. And if it is well done, then you will get a different assignment tomorrow to do in a breakout room with some other students who are ready to finish it. All right, have a good day.